something happened. I was still in university at the time. I was just coming, deeper into God, small by small by small. So at that time, there are so many things in God I know now that I did not know then. But the Holy Spirit, God out of his mercy, knowing your heart, that mercy, God used to cover our ignorance a lot. And so suddenly I noticed one day that my father was sick. I was staying in the hostel, so I only come for weekend and go back. So one of this weekend, my father was so sick. How did I know? By observing. I was washing their bathroom, scrubbing, and when I came there, I saw a stool inside. So I had to ask my mom, what is stool doing inside the bathroom? They said, your father cannot stand though. He's been so sick, he can't even, bathe standing. That really triggered something in my heart, that my father that I know that is so strong, if it has come to this point, that thing has really brought him down. And that was how I started praying. I met our fellowship president. I shared with him at the time. He joined me in prayer. I said, okay, join this prayer. I started praying for my dad. And I believe that God made me a watchman over that family. But as at that time, I was not really aware. Like some of us are not aware. It's out of the mercy of God that my father did not die at that time. And so as I kept praying, and God saw my heart that I really wanted this man to live, and I stayed interceding for him. Then suddenly, there was response from heaven. And this response came as a feedback for my prayers. And that's why when you pray, always your heart should be open for a feedback. Some of us just pray, and go. And not watching, not being alert to hear what you will hear or to see anything. When you pray, ask the Lord to open your eyes, to align your heart to his heart, to open your ears, so that when there's a feedback, you will know. So there was this feedback, and the feedback came in a dream. And I saw my father. I was with him. We're standing near a clothes drying line. And suddenly there was this serpent that just showed up from only God knows where. And he went straight and beat him on the leg. Pa! And I was seeing it in that dream. Then I started shouting and asking people around, come and see this snake, kill this snake. Not knowing that it was in my own power to kill that snake. So I was calling other people, but they were not hearing me. And that was how that snake slithered away. So, but I thank God in the spirit, because I had been praying on this situation. In the spirit also, I was alert. So when the snake bit him, immediately I put my mouth there and sucked out the venom that the snake, the poison that was already deposited there. And still in that same dream, I found myself in the house with my parents. My dad was there, my mom was there. And there was this snake that was slithering through the curtain that I saw. And it was that same snake that bit him and escaped, that was back. So immediately I saw it, I was alert, and I told them to go inside the room and close the door. So I was trying to face this snake. And the snake targeted me. He jumped at me. I moved to the side, fell on the ground. I ran into the room too. But because I was alert in the spirit, when the snake put his head under the door, there was a stone that appeared in my hand. From where? Because you are alert and you are praying. Heaven had responded. It had given me the weapon to destroy the enemy. And that was how I used a stone to hit the head of the serpent. But still in my heart, there was an alert in the spirit that was not the only one. There were two. So I was looking around inside to look for the second one. And lo and behold, it had already entered and was hiding under the shelf. And that was how it brought out his head from the shelf. A cutlass, a machete appeared in my hand. And that was what I used to cut the head of that serpent. There's a thin line between the physical and the supernatural. As you pray here on earth, you are saying, Lord, I'm giving you permission to come into this situation, to intervene in this situation. And then you will see that in the spirit, things will begin to line up in your favor, because you are the one who is interceding concerning that matter. Meanwhile, this man was someone they had taken from hospital to hospital. They couldn't diagnose what was wrong with him. And he was just drying up and drying up and drying up. So you see, many of the sicknesses we have today are not just ordinary sicknesses and diseases. They are shot from the spirit realm. And that was how, after that happened in all that dream, I got up and I prayed. I said, yes, every serpent that has been sent to destroy my father, I caught you, just as I saw in the dream. Physically, spiritually, I caught you down. Suddenly, a week later, and not only that, then I had to go and see my dad and also preach to him. I had to go with words of encouragement because his faith had gone down. He was at a point of grief because this man was very agile, man. So I've dealt with that in the spirit. Physically now I had to go and encourage his heart. Encourage his heart. And I told him about how joy brings life to the heart of man. All this was by the Spirit. I was not even as deep in Christianity as I am today. But I'm telling you that if God sees your heart, that your heart, is with him, and you really want to follow him, you really from the depth of your heart don't have an alternative, he will show himself to you. After I preached, I spoke with him, encouraged him. Even my mom was saying, prophetess. I said, prophetess. I don't even have any vision or dream. But after that time, I saw he had, he was coming back gradually. And then a week later, a friend of his called and said, oh, there's this diagnostic hospital somewhere here. They should bring him, and maybe they can find something. And that was how they took him there, and they now found out what is wrong with him. Now the machine could detect what is wrong with him, because spiritually you have dealt with what is the mystery, demonic mysteries. You've dealt with the demonic mysteries. Now physical machines can work. Because if you don't know what's wrong with someone, how can you administer help? How can you? So there are times that God will set you as a watchman over your family, over territories, over communities. And if you don't have a heart that is aligned with his, how can you do business with him? How can you really stand on his behalf? You have to alert the people. The watchman's role is to be vigilant and discerning. We can't be Christians who are not vigilant. If you know your discernment is low, you need to cry out to God to increase your discernment. If not, you will be living in the midst of wolves, thinking they are sheep. If not, you will be dining with the devil, thinking that is a dove, not knowing it's a serpent. We must be vigilant and discerning. You need to always be alert to see and know anything that is out of order. If you are not observant, how will you know what is out of order? If you are not watching, how will you know when something is being distorted? How will you know? You know, there was this in my house then. We used to have a lot of people around. So I always used to tell them, I said, how we'll be able to live in harmony in this house is that, anything you want to take that is not your own, always ask for permission. Ask. It's just the right thing to do. You don't just go and pick something. Yeah. Later we pay. No. Ask. There's no harm in asking. It's either the person will say take or no. And if he says no, you will not die. So there's sometimes I kept something here. I'm not taking it, I'm not using it. But every day I pass there, but somehow my eye sees it. I know exactly how it is. I'm not touching it, I'm not using it. Then somebody is watching. I say, Mama is not touching it since she's not using it. That means she doesn't need it. But I have observed what I have kept. I know how many things are there. It's not like I'm counting. No, it's just because of observation and you are moving on that same direction almost every day. You already know. The moment you pass, when something is distorted, you're like, I kept this thing in a certain way, but it's like someone has moved it. This thing used to be 5. Then it became 4, then became 3. You will notice if you are observant. Then I call the person. I say, call everybody. What happened here? This thing used to be 6. Now, the other day it was 5. Then it became 4. So it's like the thing was dropping. Do we have some spirits that are living amongst us? And then the person... Someone now confesses and say, actually, I thought you are not using it. It has been there for long. And how did I? Because I was observant. Because I was vigilant. I didn't need it, but it's there. The moment is distorted, you know. And so also as watchmen, we have to be vigilant and alert. So that when something is distorted in the neighborhood, you will quickly know that there's danger. When you start seeing some certain men you have never seen before in that place, you will know that something has happened. Something has changed. In where I come from, if suddenly the herdsmen who have cattle start disappearing, they used to graze openly and do their thing, no problem. Start disappearing and they are not there again. Know that danger is coming. They have received, intel that there's going to be an attack. So if you are living in such a place and you are not vigilant, you will fall a victim. And so also God is calling us to be alert and vigilant. As watchmen, we can't be watchmen and not vigilant. No, then you are not a watchman. Your eye must be single without distraction. The ministry of a watchman is critical to the safety and security of a city, of a community, of your home. You notice we didn't used to have this in our family. Then suddenly, people, when they reach this age, this happens to them. When this person reached this age, it happened to them. When this other person reached that same age, it happened. You know that there's a problem. If evil things begin to happen, you know that there's a problem. This was not how it was before. Something has come in. You will know that there's a viable demonic priesthood that is working your family. You don't know where it is, but it is there. You must not be distracted. A watchman or intercessor does not just look and listen, but is also expected to ask questions. As you are interceding and watching over a territory, you need to ask the Lord. You know, there has to be interaction between you and the one who has sent you to watch. You can't just take a job as a gate man and you are not interacting with anyone on the inside. Your boss sometimes passively asks you questions. You too, you ask some questions. Oga, this person that came the other day, he said like this, should I let him in next time? Should I not let him in? Oga, I noticed this man that came in is strange. What do you think? You say, okay, next time don't even open the gate for this person again. There has to be an interaction between the watchman or the intercessor and the Lord, because he sent you. You need to ask questions about that territory or your family, even as you are watching and interceding. Habakkuk chapter 2. Verse 1. It says, he said, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and I will watch to see what he will say unto me and what I shall answer when I am reproved. Some other version says, when I shall answer when I'm reproved. So instead of reproved, in some versions it says argument, complain. When I complain, when I'm arguing, you know, the argument that I bring up to him. You have to stand at your watch and be set upon your tower to hear what he will say. So it can't just be, we're just praying. We're not here. What is he saying? Sometimes at a point, your prayer will just become noise if you don't know how to wait and hear. What is he saying? What is he saying? What is he saying over a matter? What is he saying over your family? What is he saying? We can see here that the watchman had some complaints. Some things were not right that he's seeing in that land or in that territory. Some things are not right, and he's asking the Lord about those things. You have to ask about your territory. What happened in this territory that has brought it to the state where it is today? What were the divine deposits in that territory? What are the demonic deposits in that territory? Sometimes you might not be able to ask questions physically and get them. Some is through revelations that the Lord will show you. He will show you at what point the devil entered your family. Don't just see things in your family and sit down and say, just pray. Ask questions. At what point did this thing start? Can you trace it? Ask questions. This position of watching was not only for watchmen to be alert or undistracted, but most of all to be able to interact and converse with the Lord. Some of us don't know how to interact with God. Abraham used to do it a lot. Moses did it a lot. Most of them in the Old Testament, even in the New Testament, we see they interacted with the Lord. And they had answers. This is our God. He's not vague. No. He's real. And you can talk to him. A lot of us will just come to place of prayer. Back. We are not interacting. We are not talking. We are not. Sometimes you say it's gist. It's gist with God. Do you gist with God? Do you talk? Do you tell him your heart? Sometimes we come too serious all the time. He's a friend. Even your weaknesses, you can tell him. Man, God. That girl, if care is not taken, I will follow. You have to help my heart. You see that money that they are sharing, my eyes inside, if you don't help these eyes, you have to just help me. Help me. Be open to him. Show him your weaknesses. Tell him. Tell him how you feel. Even if you feel disappointed, tell him how disappointed you are feeling. Maybe you are not understanding it. Help me. Be true before this God. He's not vague. A lot of us take him as one God that is up there that you cannot even really touch or reach. No. He's nearer than even your breath to you.